Oh boy. Okay. So, quick walkthrough of my evening. Went to work, played a little bit of Street Fighter, then was about to write something for either my esports blog or the Sportster. And then my buddy, my buddy Will texted me. He said that they confirmed that there were more WWE releases that happened today. And it's crazy because releases, they just released people last week or the week before. Some of the names shocking. We came to grips where it was like Karrion Cross, it was Keith Lee, Nia Jax, which was the biggest one because you think with her being the cousin of The Rock, she was safe, and they cut her. Probably reason being is because she had beef with Charlotte once upon a time, and her history of injuring people. But who else was it? So it was a handful of people in the releases that just came out of nowhere, right? And everybody's saying that it's an anti Triple H thing. Triple H got demoted. Recently, had he suffered like cardiac arrest, and he's still recovering. But ever since the intro of NXT 2.0, there's been a big shift in how that product was introduced, right? And how Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard, they wanted to go with the product, whatever. But now today, after a week or 2 weeks or whatever, after the first round of releases for this particular quarter, we get hit with another round of releases, some of which, either they were just called up or they were just re-signed not too long ago. So right here, Sean Ross, pretty credible guy when it comes to wrestling, says Fightful has learned that WWE has released John Morrison, who's been, most of his program was with The Miz, right? So it was him. Top Dollar. Top Dollar is part of Hit Row, who BFAB was actually released during the last releases, and it was just like those three guys. But then I read further, it wasn't just Top Dollar himself, it was all of Hit Row. So all of Hit Row is now gone, and they only had a few notable things on NXT. They just got called up, had like 3 matches, 2 matches or something like that. Now they're gone. Ashante Adonis, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Tegan Knox, which is a big one because everybody thought that Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart were going to, be the main contenders for the women's tag team titles. But then they split them up during the draft split, and now Tegan, I think since being called up, she only wrestled like 2, if not 3 matches. Now she's gone. Drake Maverick, who's back on the chopping block again after being re-signed from getting let go the first time last year under Triple H, so put him back in NXT, so he's gone. Shane Thorne and Jackson Rocker. So these are the latest releases from WWE. Now with that, I know Drake Maverick, we're not going to see that shit again. Drake Maverick, he was trying his hardest. He was going for, I think he was going for IC title. I think what really was like the final nail in the coffin for his career at WWE was when they started putting him in the 24/7 kind of like title bout. Anybody who's going for that 24/7 title is pretty much, their days are numbered. Akira Tozawa, his days are numbered. What's the guy who has the title now? I see his face, I just don't know his name. But Vince McMahon's gonna get bored of him pretty soon, and he's gonna be gone. The only person who's safe from the 24/7 title bout is R-Truth. That's because him and Vince McMahon have a long-term friendship. Other than that, if you're part of the 24/7 title picture, you're not going to be there that long anyway. But Drake Maverick, though, this guy cried his heart out when he first got released. And, this all plays a role in what Vince wants when it comes to his vision of where he wants the WWE to go. Drake Maverick, small guy, not a muscular guy. Vince likes him big, Vince likes him tall, and Drake Maverick doesn't fulfill that stature. Now, other guys, right? Like Jackson Riker, like these guys, they're big, they're buff, they put in the work, but then this also plays a factor into Vince's new rule that he doesn't want anybody over 30. I'm not sure how old, Jackson Riker or, I know Morrison, he's definitely over 30, but he don't want those guys. Like, Vince wants WWE to kind of like take a step back and go back into the 80s and 90s where everybody's like lifting weights and all pumped and jacked. But at the same time, it's like he also wants to take the NBA or, other sports routes and try to sign new stars or make new stars who are like fresh out of high school or something like that. So, which explains why a lot of people have been getting cut. Then I think lately he's tried to go back into like the era of where people like using like swear words to try to make things cool just to appeal to a younger demographic. The thing is, with all these releases, this is just more talent for the indie scene. This is more talent for Impact. This is more talent for AEW if Tony Khan sees any interest in a John Morrison or a Tegan Knox. Probably a Tegan Knox, because I know he really wants to elevate his women's division. Amber Moon too. I think Amber Moon is probably going to pop up on AEW in the near future, but everybody else is definitely like Impact potential. I was going to say Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor, they pretty much fired everybody, so they're about to start anew themselves. But it's just weird how everybody thrived and worked hard, and they figured, oh, if I get to WWE, I'm in the big times. But WWE, within the past 2-3 years, proved that no matter how hard you work, or how long you've been in the indies or amount of experience or whatever, unless you're a bona fide star like a AJ Styles or a Randy Orton or a John Cena, and you're like in your 40s or something like that, there's no job security for you in that aspect. Like, those guys are top stars, and plus they've been with the company, they have company loyalty, so they're not going anywhere. Rey Mysterio too, I think he's on the verge of like touching 50 or something like that. But it's weird how all these releases just came out of nowhere, and the main thing they cited for is budget cuts, or maybe, right? But it's a $1 billion company, but it released so many people. So at this point, it's not even worth releasing WWE 2K22, because there's nobody on that roster. You're gonna have a roster of 30 people, and everybody's gonna play Roman Reigns at this point. So yeah, this is definitely a bad move for WWE, but it's definitely something that Impact and AEW can benefit from. AEW can definitely benefit from the women released to strengthen their division, and Impact can use more people on their roster. Like, if Drake Maverick goes back to Impact, he can definitely go back under the name of Rockstar Spud if he wanted to, which was his original in-ring name. I know he's been doing like the manager thing his whole life, so most of the wrestling that I've seen from him is either his indie stuff or when he was in NXT. But if he goes back to Impact, he's definitely going to go back under the name of Rockstar Spud. So Hit Row, those guys, I don't see where they're going, honestly. They may definitely go back to the Indies because again they don't have enough experience. It was a 4-person group, along with BFAB. So maybe they can make a a name for themselves as a group again in the indie circuit, but I don't see them getting picked up by Impact, especially not by AEW, because nobody really knows who they are besides the NXT crowd. The main roster crowd didn't even get a chance to see how they are, and their first feud was about to be with what's his name, Jinder Mahal and Shanky. I think I said that right. So right out the gate, they were done. Let's see. So I know Drake Maverick. He just did a video. I didn't even get a chance to see what he said with the video. Let me go back to his thing. He put a video up. I don't know where to find it though. Maybe if I go back and look up Drake Maverick once again, because I want to watch it. I want to see what he says. So yeah, so all these people, they're gone. I think the only thing they really did with Jackson Riker, I think they just put him with Elias, and now they're rebranding Elias. So yeah, that was pretty much the end all be all with him. Yeah, I did see that. So maybe if I look under John Cena's account. So with Drake Maverick, before we play that, so this pretty much takes place from when he first got released. And I think he's going back to like talk with himself in the past or something, like his future is talking to his past. But I'm interested. Let me see what this is about.
So I just got off the phone with WWE Talent Relations. Let me know that as of today I've been released from my contract.
Like no lie, that kind of scared the shit out of me. Oh, I just noticed. Let me scroll it up.
Look here. You can't pull this one again. Get up. You're going to be fine. I mean, everything they ever gave you, you turned into a moment. Right? If they wanted you to be a manager, you made it work. If they wanted you to run around 24/7, you made it work. They even tried to get rid of you. You made that work too. I don't know what else to tell you. You're a success. You've always been a success. And you're going to carry on being a success. You did everything you said you were going to do in life. You're a success. Look at me. Look at me. Hey. I know we've been here before. We don't belong here anymore. What was our dream? Come on, what was our dream? wasn't to be a WWE superstar, was it? It was to be a professional wrestler. You can't be fired from wrestling, pal. Somebody's going to book you. Even an idiot like you. But what I'm asking you to do is get up. Because if you don't get up, this whole journey, this whole dream, it's going to die. It's going to end. And we got so much more that we need to accomplish in this journey. It's going to keep going. But we're not going to accomplish nothing if you don't get up. Come on! Get up! What, you're just going to let this dream die? Get up! We're going to accomplish everything! Get up! Get up!
That is true. You can be fired from wrestling. You can be fired from WWE, but you can't be fired from wrestling. That was actually inspirational. I think the best part of that is when he said, it's like, "What's your dream to be a WWE superstar?" No, it was to be a professional wrestler. So that was a good one. So again, Drake Maverick has, well, I'm gonna just call him Rockstar Spud now since he's going back to the Indies or wherever it is that he's going. But I got a feeling in that final buzz or whatever that was probably Impact, or probably could be. But none of these people can't do anything for the next 90 days. So where is it? Today's the, what is it, 18th? So probably by December, January, February. None of these guys can't wrestle or do anything until February 18th or 16th or something like that. So, yo, what up, Noah? But yeah, I got a feeling that there's going to be more releases coming soon, right? There's going to be more people probably not making, like, I don't know, cinematic like pieces like this, but there's going to be more people who are going to get the axe, who's going to be on that chopping block. WWE 2K is about to have 14 wrestlers. It's going to have the same amount of wrestlers as No Mercy did on the N64. And it's like they're releasing all the people who didn't even have the chance yet, you know? Some people had a chance, right? They released people who didn't have a chance, and they had released people who could have been like their future key players. You know, everybody's still upset about the Keith Lee and the Karrion Kross. People are still hella pissed about Bray Wyatt, even though he's about to do something big in AEW or wherever organization that he's about to be. And you know, these people, like, I don't want to sound like a complete dick about it or anything like that, but John Morrison, I knew for a fact that he wasn't going to last, because John Morrison is not somebody people look for when it comes to wrestling. What is it? Also, they just Yeah, they released Hit Row, all of Hit Row, all the ass gone. Um, how you released the entire Hit Row after calling them up 3 weeks? Easy is because Hit Row is not it. People, this is how Vince McMahon look at it, right? Vince McMahon was like, "Oh, Hit Row, these are the guys who they rap, they're black, they got this street thug mentality, and that's what people gravitate towards." No, people don't really gravitate towards the thugs and stuff like that because you look at it. What was it? Crime Time. That was good in that particular era is because that was an era where that thing was more common, right? But you had R-Truth who was rapping. Like after a while, he stopped rapping. But he's just being a goofball. Who else was rapping? They had a lot of people rapping and singing in WWE, but Hit Row was just that group that wasn't going to make it anyway. They haven't had time to find out who they were. So, and I think they knew that right off the bat. Like they put them up for 3 weeks, thinking like they were going to get the demographic. AEW was whooping that ass, and they released them. All of them got punished for it. Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart should have stayed a team, right? They should have never split them up in this bullshit draft that they had. Drake Maverick, again, another guy. I thought his time was about to be up because of the 24/7 thing, and everybody else, nobody really gives a shit about. I didn't mind their gimmick, but I knew for a fact WWE would not know how to present them on the main roster. Oh, for sure. WWE is all about Roman Reigns right now. And at some point, time permitting, it's going to be all about Roman Reigns and The Rock. So if you're not Randy Orton, if you're not these 5 people, if you're not Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, who else? Maybe Drew McIntyre and Big E. If you're not those 5, I'm going to take out Drew McIntyre. I'm going to put in Seth Rollins. So if you're not any of those 5 people, your job is not secure. Those 5 people is what WWE revolves around. It revolves around those 5 people. That's why Kevin Owens is about to leave. That's why Sami Zayn is probably going to leave. That's why, Tommaso Ciampa. That's why Johnny Gargano. That's why all these wrestlers, if they get released, they're not going to be upset about it. They're going to be happy as shit that they got it, that they got released. I'm not surprised that some of them are, if not already, asked for their release because they know, especially everybody who's in NXT. And from what we learned the past 2 weeks with the releases, even if you're in NXT, you're not safe. People will look at the releases and be like, "Wow, I'm on the black and gold brand. I don't have to worry about that." Then Vince was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to change it from the black and gold and we're going to give it a tie-dye color." And you're like, "Oh shit." And then they start releasing people who just got signed. Like Frankie Monet. She was only there for about half a year? And then they cut her. And I think Frankie Monet is, whose wife is that? It's somebody's wife on the main roster. Just forgot who. But yeah, nobody's in NXT is not safe. So you think that Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano is going to stick around once their contracts are up? You think, Kevin Owens, he's going to stick around when his contract's up? There's going to be so many good wrestlers who are going to leave and not look back because they know this product is sinking. And this is why we won't see new top stars for the next 4 years. In the next 4 years, nobody won't even be talking about WWE because AEW was like whooping their... AEW is doing what WCW could have done if they weren't NWO, if they weren't all over this NWO, nutsack at the time. But John Morrison. Oh, yeah, so both of their ass gone. So both of y'all can sit your ass at home together wondering, like, what happened? What went wrong? Triple H lost power, which means everybody lost their job security. You know? And the funny thing about it is, since Triple H been, you know, in his recovery state or whatever, I read somewhere that Shane McMahon is no longer really doing anything with WWE, so he's out of the picture. You don't really see Stephanie McMahon. You know, usually you would see Stephanie McMahon with the drafts. You know, we didn't see no McMahon with the draft. It's like the only people we see now is what's it, Adam Pearce and what's her name? Damn, I'm forgetting a lot of names tonight, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So that's pretty much the face of WWE right now. Everybody's in the back, like, just chilling. And while we got Adam Pearce and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Big E and all that stuff, you look over at AEW, it's like, damn, they got Kenny Omega, they got Bryan Danielson, they got Adam Cole, they got, you know, CM Punk. You got a roster of 5-star players, and WWE has a roster with maybe 2 to 3 5-star players. Everybody else is at a 2-3 average. AEW is S tier, and it's crazy because go back to I think it was the Hall of Fame induction or something like that with DX, and Triple H was like, Vince McMahon will buy that pisshead company just to fire Billy Gunn. I don't see that happening. Tony Khan is making WWE look like TNA. That's how WWE is in that same boat how TNA was during that time. Like, nobody gave a shit. Vince destroyed Triple H legacy in 3 months. He destroyed, I would say more than 3 months. He destroyed it in a year because it went back to the Wednesday Night Wars. And, you know, this is the one thing I don't get about WWE. They know that when they made Raw a 3-hour show instead of 2, the show went to shit. So what was their logic taking NXT from a 1-hour show to a 2-hour show? Anytime they add more time to a product, knowing they don't have enough creative juice to fulfill that time gap or that time slot, it was destined to fail. It was destined to fail. The moment they went from the WWE Network, which no longer exists because now it's on Peacock, and went to USA along the same network that Monday Night Raw's on, and they both just went to shit. You know, I was like, if that's the case, you had a better chance of putting up a main event against AEW in the Wednesday Night Wars. At least if main event got their ass kicked, it was to be expected. It was main event. But you put NXT against AEW? You thought that the NXT fans would be enough? But here's the kicker. There was no NXT fans because COVID killed that shit. So what were they really fighting with? It's gotten to the point where my mood instantly brightens up when I realize AEW is coming on, but then I actually start feeling dread when Raw comes on. Now even SmackDown. Yeah, because SmackDown is getting boring. You know? We all love Roman. We all love the heel Roman Reigns. We all love when Brock Lesnar just came back out of nowhere. You know, SmackDown has its moments, but at the same time it gets stale. Even for a 2-hour show. Monday Night Raw, I mean, nobody have that type of energy to devote to a 3-hour show like that. Especially a 3-hour show was probably only like, 3 to 4 matches out of 3 hours, and they all either are like 10 or less than 15 minutes out of 3 hours. That's just like going to work, knowing you work an 8-hour shift, and you only have like 2 assignments to do, and you finish those 2 assignments in like 15, 20 minutes. Now you're like, what the hell I'm going to do for the next 7.5 hours? That's how Monday Night Raw feels. The Bloodline and Sasha are great, but they can't hold it on their own. They thought, well, the only way they're gonna at some point Bailey's gonna come back, and that's gonna be Bailey and Sasha again. We're gonna see that shit again, or it's gonna be Bailey and Charlotte if Charlotte doesn't kick rocks, because I'm pretty sure Charlotte's gonna want to go to AEW because Flair, Rick is gonna be there. Probably not now because of that whole controversy with the plane, but Andrade's over there, so Charlotte. And then there's been like numerous reports that Charlotte's been unhappy with the company, so she's gonna leave. And there goes your 4 horsewomen. How can you have the 4 horsewomen when the main horsewoman is gone? And then at that point, they're gonna call up Ronda Rousey, be like, I know you just had a kid, I know you love being the mother, but how soon can you come back? We need your star power. Ronda can't do that, Or The Rock, because I know you're doing 38 movies, but we need you to come back. Our ratings are seeking. Even if The Rock comes back, nobody gives a shit. Because The Rock is not a wrestler no more. The Rock is a Hollywood star. Stone Cold can't wrestle. So it's what can you really do to, help your product? Another Legends Night? Having people who are on their, they're touching 60 and 70, come back just to make a brief appearance. You got rid of all your top stars. I mean, people would have loved to saw Karrion Kross versus The Fiend, or Brock Lesnar versus Keith Lee, or Keith Lee versus Braun Strowman. There was so much potential with the people they released, and now you're going to bring up new people that will probably take years for the audience to have some kind of connection with. It makes no sense. Oh, Balor's going to be gone, without a shadow of a doubt. Finn Balor is he sees where I can see this happening now. AJ Styles, once his contract's up, he's going to go to AEW for probably about 2 years before he calls it quits. Balor's going to probably follow right behind him, and then you have Balor, AJ Styles, Kenny Omega. You have the Elite and the Bullet Club all together. That shit's better than NWO in its prime, because you look at these groups that we got now. That's too much star power on one group. Bianca the only bright, and I'm gonna let you know right now. People are getting sick of Bianca Belair. There was a point where we didn't see Bianca at all. Now we see her too much. And that's the quickest way to burn out a person, right? Just constantly having them work every single week. And putting them in the face and constantly putting them in this road to the title. Meanwhile, you got so many other stars who are, just back there watching and never know when they're going to get booked for a particular show. And even if they are booked, their match is only going to be 2 minutes. Mount Rushmore is going to rule. I can see that. We need Edge back ASAP. We don't need Edge. I mean, Edge was cool. Edge and Christian, that's a bundle package. But then you see Christian, he left to AEW. So that says a lot. You don't think when Edge's contract is up, even though he's been with WWE his whole life, he doesn't want to finish his wrestling career along with his buddy? They might give Edge a title run that ends. He leaves. He goes to AEW, get the TNT title or something like that, and then he calls it quits. Yo, what up, Truth? But yeah, AEW is killing it right now. Even what was the last one? I think Bobby Fish. So Bobby Fish, this was hilarious. Like, AEW takes so many shots at WWE, it's not even funny. Yeah, I've been good. I've just been working a lot. That's all. But, still make time for my wrestling. I think it was this. So, this right here, this was another poke, but not just to WWE, but to NXT in particular. So if you never saw this, I think this is the one, but let's see.
Brandon, come on, let's do another one, you idiot.
Guys, I am so sick and tired. I'm tired of Jungle Boy, I'm tired of Luchasaurus, and I'm tired of Christian Cage, because Full Gear, that was the worst night of our careers.
This was the worst night of my life! Jungle Boy, what, you think you're Jungle Man all of a sudden? You think you're so tough? Try to end my life on pay-per-view? My kids were watching at home, the popcorn, try to end my life on pay-per-view?
And guess what? Matt's still not cleared. Neither is Nick. Nick is also not cleared, but you heard us earlier in the night. The Elite, more specifically the Super Clique, will be stronger than ever, because in 2 nights' time on Rampage, it's going to be Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus against me and one of my best friends in the entire world, Mr. Bobby Fish.
Yeah. Enough is enough. You got one guy coming out here, he looks like Tarzan, and the other one, you're a grown man dressed like a friggin' dinosaur. Enough is enough. Let's put an end to this Jurassic joke once and for all, and that is...
You can't say that here. Go ahead and cut that right there. Right the rest.
So that right there, that was gold right there. He was about to do the undisputed thing that they used to do in NXT, and it's like, whoa, you can't say that. They constantly take all these underlying jabs at WWE to where it's like, it's comical, because like we see what these guys went through on that brand. For them to come over to AEW and to actually, be able to do more with their character and to, actually build themselves up and actually put themselves in title pictures. That's genius, Everybody was like, oh, they're constantly taking too many shots at WWE, because WWE is the easy target because they constantly make themselves the easy target by having like 2 back-to-back releases in like less than 4 weeks. It's fucking insane. I'm torn if I want Undisputed Era or Mount Rushmore formed first. Probably, because what's the name's contract? I forgot his name. His contract is up in NXT pretty soon, and for sure he's leaving. Following what everybody's seen within the past 3 weeks, there's no way in hell. So he's definitely going to AEW, and you're going to start to see that Undisputed Era form, but they're going to call it something else, copyright stuff, obviously. Kyle O'Reilly, that's who it was. Thank you for that. AEW's in tune with their audience. Yeah, because it's like, dude, like WWE is so PG, it's not even funny, right? WWE is like the Disney of wrestling. It's like if somebody catches a nosebleed and you go back and watch their replay, they put the whole thing in black and white because they don't want to show blood. Meanwhile, you got John Moxley and Chris Jericho and all these dudes getting busted open and losing pints of blood and stuff. Now, I don't think, it's something that should be always done, maybe like every now and again for a pay-per-view. But they bring that element of independent wrestling along with past elements of like the WCW bringing in like stars from other promotions and then having like that hardcore factor of ECW. So when you watch AEW, it seems like you're watching like 3-4 different brands at once. Maybe because everybody's open. You have AEW joining with Impact and New Japan and stuff like that. But yeah, you're watching all this stuff. And it's like there's something for everybody. You got your CM Punk for people who was in love with him during his pipe bomb time at WWE. Then you got Bryan Danielson, who loved him during his takeover WWE movement. And then you have the Elite, and you have Adam Cole for the indie people. There's something for everybody who loves either wrestling or entertainment. And, you can know the best of both worlds. So I think that's why they're thriving. Nemesis, thanks for subbing. I truly appreciate it. All we need is Roderick Strong. And where is he? I don't even remember where he went. But yeah, with the releases that we've seen the past 3 weeks, he's in NXT too. Oh, he's leaving. Vince McMahon's gonna cut him too. Yeah, what we've seen in the past 3 weeks, it's definitely good for the other promotions. It's definitely going to be good for Ring of Honor. When they reboot, even though they like cut everybody on their roster, they're talking about doing like a whole reboot or whatever. All the people that they released, they can pick up, and and they can make ROH a contender once again. Like, what was it? Didn't Jay Lethal just show up on AEW at Full Gear? I know I saw that right. So Jay Lethal is now with AEW, but it's just going to become the only thing is I just hope at some point AEW doesn't get too big to where it becomes the next WWE, to where something happens and they also have to start cutting people. But doesn't seem to be the case now. They sell out tickets and stuff like that. They're doing everything correctly. They're not shoving pay-per-views down everybody's throat every damn month. You get 4 pay-per-views a year, which I think is good because that contributes to long-term booking. And once the event gets here, you're so invested in the story and you're so invested in the characters to where it's like, you know who you want to root for, whether if you want to be a face or a heel. So, yo, what up, Shane? Good, man. I'm just talking about these releases that happened tonight out of no damn where. But yeah, right now AEW is definitely the flagship promotion. WWE, in my opinion, at this point, WWE is probably third. Impact is looking better than WWE right now. And that says a lot. If Impact can whoop your ass, then that means you really got to go back and, reassess everything and figure out what's going on. Start by stop releasing everybody and keeping people hostage for 90 days. I think that's like the biggest crock of shit of being a WWE signee, is that based off your contract, even though you're not really contracted, you're technically you're like a contractor, right? So you should be able to come and go as you please, but technically you sign a contract to where you can't compete for 90 days. So now you're keeping people from earning anything for 3 months. So they're just at home looking lost and contemplating like, what did I do wrong? Why did they release me? Blah, 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 blah. Bad enough you didn't offer them health insurance or anything, but now you're taking 3 months out of no potential earnings. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother podcast. I feel they need 1 more hour of TV time, preferably added to Rampage. But Rampage needs a new time slot. Yeah, because Rampage starts hella late. And I think there was a recent interview with Tony Khan as to why he did that. He said, and I'm just paraphrasing, he wanted to start Rampage later because he wants to give people the power of choice. He wants people, hey, like if you want to watch WWE, watch WWE. If you want to watch Rampage, you can watch Rampage at a later time. But, I think his main point was watch what you want to watch. And I respect that. With Vince, he wants to compete with everybody. And, honestly, he knows he's threatened. He feels some kind of threat with, AEW because he didn't take it seriously. He thought it was just going to be like a one-off ordeal. And now you fast forward like 2 years later, it's whooping their ass. It's funny how that works. Let's see. And then just going down the list, utterly shocked and disappointed. And this is coming generally from a positive WWE fan. So just reading people's tweets about it, Drake Maverick better not make another cry video. People really didn't like Top Dollar, right? There's one person I watch in particular who really doesn't like Top Dollar. And you know what? I'm not even gonna hide it. I'm just gonna say I watch JD from New York. JD is a cool commentator, a cool podcaster. I like him, right? And he said it when BFAB got released. He said, I wouldn't be surprised if you're on the chopping block just like she was. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And then we fast forward 3 weeks later, all of them on the chopping block. So I am looking forward to his podcast probably tomorrow, or if he does like a surprise one in the morning, which I'm sure he probably will. I'm gonna watch the shit out of that because he called it. He said that they were going to be on the chopping block because anybody who's under or who was under Triple H, they're gone. And rest assured, here they are. I think he wanted to see if he can get hardcore WWE fans to check out Rampage without feeling like for them to choose. Yeah, Tony Khan, he's a wise man. You know? Let's put it this way too. With WWE, like again, their main attraction right now is Roman Reigns. Right? Roman Reigns heel by himself wouldn't have worked. Point blank. What makes Roman Reigns heel character work right now is Paul Heyman. Right? We've seen Roman with the Usos and Babyface. What was it when they was fighting like Baron Corbin, putting dog food all over him and stuff like that? Like we've seen that family, we've seen that bloodline before. The only thing that makes Roman Reigns' character interesting is the fact that he sided with Paul Heyman. Now go back to when WWE released. They brought in Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff, but then they released them of their duties. Can you imagine if Paul Heyman said fuck WWE and he went and followed Cody and over to AEW? Like the amount of genius that Paul Heyman has, if you add his brain into AEW, it could probably be twice as better. Because, Paul Heyman been there. He had insight from not just his own company, ECW, but he has crazy insight from WWE, which he can be like, this is what WWE did. This is what we should definitely stay away from. AEW will automatically win. I sense it. I think what would have made that fact, that deciding factor for Paul Heyman to go to AEW is because remember, Brock was not under contract. Brock was going for almost a year or whatever. If Brock Lesnar showed up at AEW, Paul Heyman is going to follow his best friend to AEW, and then that would have been, that thing. And then you would have had, of course, you have your Brock Lesnar versus, CM Punk again now that he's back, Bryan Danielson. But we will actually have to see Brock Lesnar wrestle. Brock is only getting away with the Suplex City stuff is because that's what WWE wants him to do. Right? And then I wouldn't mind seeing Brock Lesnar and who was it? Brock Lesnar, Kenny Omega. If they actually had to wrestle. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but if Brock would have went to AEW, Paul Heyman would have automatically left. And that would have been curtains for it. And then nobody wouldn't give a shit about Roman Reigns at that point. Roman Reigns at this point, he's all they have left. And he can only do that for so long, The Usos are the Usos, but right now, the Elite got everything on lock. So the Usos are like the top tag team in WWE because there's no competition to that. Me personally, I think the Street Profits are one of the top, is the top tag team because they have the potential and they can do a lot more than what the Usos are doing, but that's just me. Only thing AEW needs is a major boost in its women's division. Britt's cool, but she's getting overexposed right now. this is what I was talking about, right? Everything that happened within the past 3 weeks, this is going to work in AEW's favor, right? Because Frankie Monet, which no, she's going back to her indie name. You got Amber Moon, you got Tegan Knox. You know, who else? I won't be surprised if. I honestly think AEW is going to stay away from Nia Jax, so you don't have to worry about that. So all these women that are being released from WWE, they're definitely going to get picked up by Tony Khan and AEW, because Tony Khan was talking about doing an all women's pay-per-view, but can't really do that unless you have a nice amount of women on your roster. So this definitely works out in his favor. Britt Baker is cool, but yeah, like I said, I think the reason why Britt Baker is overexposed is because at some point she's going to drop that title to Thunder Rosa, and then, you have, up and comers like Sky Blue. Then you have Ruby Soho. Everybody's going to start gunning for that championship during that point. So again, it's all about the booking. And I can see that's how they're gonna play it out. Ember and Tegan would be a huge game for AEW. Absolutely. Ember Moon, though, I think it's a 75-25 with her, because I believe she was injured to the point of retirement. So the fact she was able to come back, that's awesome. But AEW is a whole different ball game. They're not as reserved or safe. Obviously they're safe. People know what they're doing. But if she's in a particular match and something goes the wrong way, she's back on the sideline. So she just has to be careful. Tegan, for sure. I can see her as a possible AEW Women's Champion, like 3-4 years down the road, after she's well established within the company. But yeah, honestly, I think AEW will get one of the 4 horsemen by 2023. Oh, they're getting Charlotte. Charlotte is definitely going to AEW. Her whole life, husband, dad is over in AEW. So, and then, the beef with Charlotte and Becky Lynch right now, that's not really helping. That's not helping anybody, right? So that's my thing. I'm marking your words because I'm marking them with you too. Charlotte's definitely going to be in AEW probably by the end of 2023. Not by the end of 2023, by the end of 2022. I'm just making it a year, because people are sick of seeing the same matches and the same people. It's either Charlotte, Sasha, Bianca. Who the hell else? Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Belair, and that's it. It's just those 4. I don't know who Aaliyah is. She's green as shit. So the fact that she was on the Survivor Series team, I think she's no longer on there because of what happened on Friday. But yeah, I don't know. I won't be surprised they release her ass soon. So, but that's what's happening with WWE. They continue to cut people. These other sideline promotions, these other promotions like AEW and Impact continue to reap the benefits, after all their 90-day clauses are up. And we continue to get what we all want, which is good professional wrestling, because entertainment, I can get entertainment anywhere. I got Hulu for that. I got Netflix for entertainment. We want to see wrestling. We don't want to see skimpy outfits and people just swearing like sailors and stuff like that. Oh, Bailey's trending? Why is Bailey trending? She didn't, but it still happened. That's actually an interesting take. That's an interesting take. She did tell Bianca. And the way she lost in, what was it, 6 seconds? There's no coming back from that. I don't care how many championships you get. There's no coming back from a 6-second defeat. Sasha, I can see happening. Even Natalia, because AEW cool with the fam. Yeah, but nobody wants to see no damn Natty Neidhart. We had enough of her ass for, I don't know how long she was with the company, but we had enough of her. We had enough of her. We had enough of Tamina Snuka. We had enough of just the same people. You know, it's time. I understand. You know, everybody wants what's best for these people who is, you know, in WWE right now, but some people are just, they're not going to make it elsewhere. WWE is where they will end their runs, right? Tamina's going to end her run in WWE because she can't go nowhere else, especially with that shit that happened with her father. Natty can't go nowhere because of the whole heart thing. So they're just there. They're destined to be there till they call it quits. But for everybody else, there's options. And for the people who got cut tonight, who got cut within the past month, even who got cut within the past 2 years, right? They have options. And I think that's the biggest take from AEW and Impact, you know, surging the way they did, and New Japan, you know, playing a role into it. It shows that, you know, WWE should not be the end goal. You know, I've trained in wrestling, and I thought that WWE was, you know, the ultimate goal, and it's really not. Going back to Drake Maverick's video, you know, dream, if you want to be a professional wrestler, be a professional wrestler. You know, being a WWE superstar is now always cracked up to be because they have their fair share of shit that they go through, like not having job security and not having insurance. So if you're fucked up, that's pretty much wraps for you. But as always, I digress. Let's see here. Okay. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts about tonight's releases or the releases that we've seen within a month, or even the releases that we've seen within the past 2 years, definitely hit me up on Twitter, _87FGC, or if you want to hit me up on my journalism account, it's Jeremy Lee Blogs, and I can put that up for you right here. So if you want to see what I do news-wise, that's also including what I do with the Sportster and my FGC website. You can definitely follow me there. Otherwise, you can follow me here. Remember, no first E. And just, you know, share your thoughts with me. Let me know what you think about the releases. Let me know who else is going to be released, because you know more releases are coming before the end of the year, and how that would be beneficial to AEW and Impact, or even New Japan, or any other promotion that's out there. Even the indie scenes, right? I'm pretty sure they can make like $500 just for an appearance on the indies, so that works out. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go eat something, get ready for work in the morning, and see what's going to happen with, you know, SmackDown tomorrow. It's probably only going to be like a handful of matches, but whatever. Let's see. Nice chatting with you, bro. Think about to call it a night myself. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for the sub. Truly appreciate that. And again, my schedule has been kind of hectic, but I'm going to find a stable streaming schedule so we can talk more about what's happening in the world of wrestling. So everybody have a good evening. And for those who watch this VOD on YouTube, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you can see when I post. And let's continue to talk some wrestling. Catch you later.